Hi, this is Lara at Elliott Wave Stock Market with your free Dow analysis for you for the week ending Friday the 4th of February. This is my main wave count for the Dow on a daily chart. I'm just going to jump into the daily chart, and only for my main wave count. I do have an alternate which expects quite a lot more upwards movement and possible all-time new highs for the Dow. I'm not going to go through that one today. In the short term, they're both pretty much the same. We're looking for the end of a 5-wave structure. In this case, an intermediate degree for a C wave of a zigzag to end a primary wave 2. The next move for the Dow, when this structure is finished and complete, should be some strong downwards movement. Eventually, once we see price move below 10,720, which is the high of wave 1 blue here, at that stage we know that downwards movement can't be a 4th wave correction, and because I would not want to put the label for this blue one any lower, at that stage this 5-wave structure up should be complete. And at that stage we will be pretty confident we've had a trend change at primary degree and we are going to see new lows for the Dow. We're not quite there yet though. I expect we may have a little bit further upwards movement, maybe for another couple of days or so to go, before we see a trend change for the Dow. My target zone is 12,084. That's where wave 5 blue will reach equality with wave 1 blue. And at 12,151, we can see this on the hourly chart, where 5 green will reach 0.618, the length of 3. And in the middle of this target zone, at 12,100, wave 5 pink, beginning here, will reach 0.618, the length of wave 1 pink. So there's a cluster of targets. It's admittedly quite a decent sized zone, and price is already just within it. I expect it to get towards the upper end of this zone, a little bit higher yet. So taking you now to my first hourly chart, and I have two where the degree of labelling differs very slightly, where this pink 4 down here is this pink 4 down here. This is my hourly chart, my main wave count. This one expects a little bit further upwards movement. And the only reason why this is my main and not my alternate is I expect we should always assume that the trend remains the same until proven otherwise. And at this stage for the Dow, we do not have a trend change confirmed. This wave 5 pink is unfolding at green degree into a 5-wave impulse. We have the end of 1, 2, 3, 4 is an expanded flat, and we're working on wave 5 green, this terminal 5th wave of wave 5 pink. Price may not move above 14,198.1 points for my main wave count. We shouldn't see a new all-time high for the Dow. And for this hourly wave count, any further extension to the downside of wave 2 orange may not move beyond the start of wave 1. This hourly wave count is invalidated with price movement below 11,981. Within this 5-wave structure that I have labelled wave 1 orange, wave 3 has no Fibonacci ratio to wave 1, but wave 5 is just 1 point longer than 0.618, the length of this 3rd wave. So there's a remarkably good Fibonacci ratio there between 3 and 5. We've got some very nice alternation as well. 2 was a little zigzag with a truncated C within it, and 4 is a triangle with an A, B, C, D, E, ending just short of the AC trend line. So there's nice alternation between 2 and 4, and a nice Fibonacci ratio between 5 and 3. So this is the end of a 5-wave structure, and here's its counterpart 2nd wave correction, most likely over here. According to this main wave count, we should be seeing further upwards movement to take price higher into that target zone that I have on the daily chart. So we're getting a lot closer to a trend change, but also it could have been over here, because if we move the degree of labelling just of this last 5-wave structure here up 1 degree, then this is the situation we have. Within wave 5 pink we have 1, 2, 3, 4, this is all the same as my main hourly count, and if we move this degree up then we have the end of a 5-wave structure. So we have a satisfactory, complete wave structure at all wave degrees for the Dow. It is possible that we could see this as a high and we could be working on some very strong downwards movement to start. I expect, though, it's more likely that we're going to see a little bit more upwards movement, because we should always assume the trend remains the same until proved otherwise. We'll have our very first indication of a possible trend change if price moves below 11,981, because that will invalidate my main hourly wave count. At that stage, we can't just be looking at a 2nd wave correction within this piece of upwards movement here. However, until price moves below this point, 11,736, downwards movement could be a 2nd wave. This could be, we could move the labelling of all of this down 1 degree, this could be the end of wave 1 green, and wave 2 green cannot move beyond the start of 1, so we would need to see price move below this point, 11,736, to have some reasonable confidence that we've seen a trend change. Now going back to my daily chart, movement below this point, 11,736, will also take price comfortably below the lower end of this little pink parallel channel I've drawn here. This is not quite Elliott's technique, it's close enough for our purposes today. I've drawn the first trend line from 1 to 3. Normally we'd place a parallel copy on the low of 2. In this instance I've just placed this parallel copy lower down, and we're nearly touching this. We're touching this and this and this, and we've got a fourth wave overthrow. This fourth wave overshoot may be an indication that we're going to see a fifth wave overshoot in the opposite direction. Sometimes that's an indication of a fifth wave overshoot. It doesn't have to be though. That's a likelihood but not a definite requirement. When we see some comfortable movement below this price point and below this little pink parallel channel, we have some fairly reasonable indication that we've seen a trend change. However, this big wide blue parallel channel is containing wave C black to the upside, drawn from 1 to 3 and a parallel copy on 2. This is Elliott's technique. It works very well, so we should use it. When we see price movement below the lower edge of this blue wide parallel channel around wave C black, we can have a lot of confidence that we've seen a big trend change for the Dow and that price has changed from up to down and is most likely to make new lows for the Dow. And we'll have that final confirmation with price movement below 10,720. At that stage we can expect new lows from the Dow. So I'm going to use the channeling technique on the daily chart because I'm looking out for quite a big trend change from the Dow. I don't expect it's quite here yet. I do expect price to move higher into my target zone and probably to see an overshoot of that little pink channel on the daily chart before we finally see a trend change. That's all for me today with your Dow analysis. I hope this helps you in your trading, and if you would like daily analysis of the S&P 500, you will find it on my site.